What's up, everyone, and welcome to our Topps Chrome Tennis Guide release party. So it's not the release of the actual Topps Chrome Tennis coming out on Wednesday, August 21st.
Just arrived.
What do we got? What do we got?
There you go, Topps Chrome Tennis.
Uh-oh, so we have our first cases just arrived here right now. Papa Slab's just
wheeling it in.
Yep, just wheeled in the drop of what is going to be Topps Chrome Tennis Breaker Delay cases that we will be ripping all next week, but not here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It will be in New York City. We will be at the Fanatics HQ, live in their studio on Tuesday night to do the first ever rips of 2024 Topps Chrome Tennis. That's right. We here at SlabStox will be able to do an early access stream for everyone. Thanks to Fanatics Live and Topps for partnering with us on the event. The U.S. Open is coming soon. The Fan Week and Media Week is next week. And we will be in New York City to rip Topps Chrome Tennis Breakers Delight cases all Tuesday evening and all Wednesday during the day. So I'm going to pass these back here, Papa Slabs.
Going on our shelf here.
There you go. We don't want to break the seal on those cases right now, obviously. But what I do have for today is a very special show. It's a very special show because we are doing an overview of our guide. And as you can see, we already have the guide on the screen. We got some of those Tier 4 players on the screen right now. And we are going to be sharing our thoughts, our opinions, and our subjective tier ranking of the top 50 current players that are in Topps Chrome Tennis 2024. Now, Topps Chrome Tennis released for the first time last year, early in the year. It was supposed to be a 2021 release that got pushed back 2 years. I'm assuming because all the autographs in the set were on card, and a lot of them were Hall of Famers and such like that. There were a few current players in there that matter, like Coco Gauff was the biggest, of course. Emma Raducanu signed in there as well, as so did Alex Demon. Keep on messing this guy's name. It's not pronounced like Demon Newer. It's I know that's what I thought it was at first. Yeah, something close to that. And then Grigor Dimitrov as well signs on that set. But we're not talking about 2021 Topps Chrome Tennis. We're talking about 2024 Topps Chrome Tennis because the new set is loaded with current players. We're talking about like basically everyone on tour right now that's important, other than Jannik Sinner, who is not able to be in the set. But everyone that's important that's on the current tour is pretty much in the set and signs in the set. Is the video loading for everyone else? Just making sure. I know Ilya says video not loading. Making sure before I keep on going that everyone else can see the screen, can see me, can see the Topps Chrome Tennis guide that's on the screen right now before we go any further. All right, Max can see it. So Ilya, maybe just exit out, jump back in. This live stream will be posted afterwards. I'm going to try to download the video recording, get it live on Instagram, the full recording, get the podcast live on our podcast network, and then also post this to YouTube potentially as well. So that's my plan. Hopefully it goes okay, barring any technical issues. Not only are we going to be talking about the Topps Chrome Tennis Guide during this episode, we'll also be pre-selling spots for our Tuesday early access show. So our Tuesday early access show will include a 5-case player break, which we've already had half of the spots sold. So I cannot thank everyone enough who already bought spots in our Tuesday early access 5-case player break. But we've got 41 spots left in that player break, and it is down there in the bottom of your screen. Chris Everett's still available somehow at 110 for the 5-case break. Not sure how that's possible because she's sold on the other ones, I think. But Chris Everett's still available. So is Jessica Pegula, who just came off of the Canadian Open Masters 1000 win in the WTA, which is the women's tennis like tour. And she's American, and she'll definitely be a factor of the U.S. Open. Naomi Osaka is still available for another notable one. Pete Sampras is. And many others in the store. There are a bunch of combo letters as well, so give those a look. There are some notable players in some of those combo letter spots, and you will get a ton of cards if you buy a combo letter spot. I'll guarantee you'll get a lot of cards and hits if you buy a combo letter spot. So we will talk through the tennis guide here soon, but first I just want to hear from some people in the live stream. What are you most excited about for the 2024 Topps Chrome Tennis release? What's a player you're most excited for? Maybe a certain card in the set that you're most excited for? Let me know, and we'll be sure to highlight that. So without further ado, Wiscovey says, I'm excited that you're excited. I can't wait. Just for a background myself in tennis, I played tennis ever since I was a young kid. My mom was a tennis player in high school, and then I started playing as a kid, took lessons, played a couple years in high school, split that tennis time in high school with AAU in the middle, so didn't play fully through high school, and then I've just been playing, for fun after high school and stuff like that. So Max says I won the French Open. Rumor is I won the French Open. I beat Rafa some years back as a high schooler. So, all right, let's jump into this and let's start talking through some of these players that are in the set. And we're going to go from tier 4 up to tier 1. So tier 4 being the lowest tier of the players we ranked, which is 50 current players up to tier 1. And then we're going to go through the legends that we've got ranked in the set as well. So I'm not going to take too long to talk about these tier 4 players, but there is some value here. A lot of the players you find in tier 4 are going to be available between like maybe $35 to $70 for the 5 case break. A couple of them might be more expensive based off of the market value expectation of their cards. But yeah, you should be able to find some good deals in the store on these tier 4 players, which are notable ones. So first up, we have Elena Svitolina. See ya. Thank you. Elena Svitolina, who has 1 card in the set. She does not sign, and she is not in our player breakdown. So she is actually in the combo layer spot for S. She's 29 years old, but she was a former world number 3 overall, and she's got 3 Masters 1000 titles. Now, the other cool thing about our guide is that we have all of their best finishes at the Grand Slams, which include the Australian Open, which happens in January, the French Open, which happens in May, Wimbledon, which happens at the end of June into July, and then the U.S. Open. So we have all of their best finishes, and the U.S. Open's coming up here very soon, end of August into September. So we have all of their best Grand Slam finishes actually in this guide. And yes, this guide's free. This guide's accessible. Shoot us a DM here at Fanatics Live. DM us on Instagram or subscribe to the SlabStox Daily Slab, which has it linked at the top of our daily newsletter. And subscribe to the Daily Slab by going to SlabStox.com. So we've got Svitolina's best Grand Slam finishes, our 2 quarterfinals finishes in the U.S. Open. In the Australian Open and the French Open. And then she finished in the semifinal in Wimbledon and U.S. Open. And Wimbledon's a grass competition. So we're just going to go through these, like I said, pretty quickly, these tier 4s. I'm not going to read over all of the notes on every player here in tier 4. I just want to shout out the players. I might mention something notable about them, and then we'll go through them like that. Andrei Rublev is a Russian tennis player who is kind of known for his freakouts recently. You can find him smashing his racket on his knee at Wimbledon. But he is pretty talented. He did reach as a top 10 player in the recent future, and he did win Olympic gold in mixed doubles as well in 2020. Rublev's a really cheap player in this set. I think you can get him for $35 in our 5K player breaks, and he does not sign in the set as well. I mean, as you can see, we have a number of autos in the set, and number of autos means the amount of times that they appear in an autograph checklist. So it might not be, if they have 2 number of autos, it means that they appear in like the base set auto and then like the Aces insert set auto. But Rublev does not sign. But then again, it's why he's so cheap. I think he was how much was he? Like $35? Yeah, $35. Rublev, he used to be, battling towards the top. He was recently, actually. He made it to the Canadian Open title, but he's talented and he could, you never know, come out and perform big. He's actually currently the 6th ranked men's tennis player in the world as well. Hugo Humbert is in the letter H combo spot. We did not split him off. Currently ranked 17 French tennis player. Arthur Fies is an interesting one. So Arthur Fies is a 20-year-old French tennis player who did sign in the previous Topps Room tennis set, but does not sign in this Topps Room tennis set. He has 4 cards in the set between base set to inserts, no autographs, but extremely talented. I just watched him the other day. He actually just took an L yesterday, I want to say, Nakashima, an American tennis player. But he is extremely talented, 20 years old, has a bright future, could end up being someone competing for Grand Slams at some point, although still super young, so hard to tell at this point. Sebastian Baez, 2 cards in the set, very cheap as well. No autographs. You can snag him in a 5K player break. I think he's still available maybe he's sold out on the first player break, actually. I think it's like $35, $40. Felix Auger Aliassime is a Canadian tennis player who is 24 years old. He used to be in the top 20 early in his career and is back into it now. He's 19 overall. He actually is playing at this exact second at the Cincinnati Open. He just beat Casper Ruud in set 1, which is a really nice start to his match for him, as Casper Ruud is ranked 7 in the world right now. And he is definitely an interesting candidate for a buy low right now. His spot's super cheap. And I think he finished as far as, the semifinal at the U.S. Open. And he also beat Djokovic in his career too, which is impressive for anyone. Took fourth at the Olympics this year, lost in the bronze medal match. Denis Shapovalov is also a Canadian tennis player who's been competing recently. I think he got pretty far at this year's Wimbledon. I think he got to the quarterfinal at this year's Wimbledon. He might have lost to Ben Shelton in the round 3, maybe it was, but he's pretty cheap in the set too. He does sign in the set, so a cheap get to have someone signs in the set. He's 25 years old. Karolina Pliskova, who at this point is probably one of my favorite players by the sheer fact that I've pulled like 3 of her different red numbered out of 5s. I pulled her red auto out of 5 out of 2021 Chrome Tennis and her red sapphire out of 5. She is a former world number 1, has not won a Grand Slam, lost in 2 Grand Slam finals at Wimbledon and at the U.S. Open. So she still is competing today. She just played yesterday. She's older though. She's 32, but she's a really cheap send for someone for 5 cases, and she does sign in the set. We have Kei Nishikori, who is a Japanese tennis player who was really big time, but played through the Federer, Nadal, Andy Murray, and Djokovic era. So he didn't end up winning a Grand Slam. He is a very popular Japanese tennis player, though I know he's already sold out on all 3 of our 5 case breaks. Emma Navarro is an up-and-coming American tennis player. I believe she just graduated from Virginia. She actually beat Coco at Wimbledon. It was, 99% sure she beat her at Wimbledon. She got to the quarterfinal of this year's Wimbledon, which is her deepest Grand Slam finish by far. And she's talented, but still very young and not going to have the consistency at the start of her career. I'm sure to go to like a bunch of quarterfinals to semifinals, but she's American, and that's definitely going to help out her market. And once again, beat Coco at Wimbledon. Anna Kalinskaya, 25-year-old, currently ranked 17 in the world, Russian as well. I think she was just playing either today or yesterday, but she also is not split off into a player spot, so you'd have to buy letter K to have the rights to her cards. Yeah, she actually just lost to Badosa in Cincy, but so she's not a player split off spot, but letter K is absolutely loaded for a letter spot. Grigor Dimitrov is currently a top 10 player in the world. He's number 9 overall. He actually is in 2021 Topps from Tennis as well, so he's a lot cheaper in this product than what you might expect because he already signed in a set. He does sign in this one as well. Danielle Collins is another American women's tennis player who is actually having her best year on tour right now at the age of 30, and she announced that she's retiring at the end of this year. So she's having her best year. She's up to number 8 in the world for women's tennis, but she's retiring at the end of this season. Her spot's extremely cheap in our 5Ks player break, and I think she already stole in the first one. Paula Badosa is 26 years old, Spanish tennis player, or Spanish women's tennis player. She signs in the set, her first autographs in Topps Chrome Tennis, and she got 2 cards in the set. Dona Vekic has been really good recently. Dona Vekic made it to the Wimbledon semifinal. She lost to Paulini in a tiebreaker, and then she made it and to the she got silver medal. Yeah, she made it to the gold medal match at the Olympics and lost to another person on this list that we'll talk about later. Dona Vekic has been really good recently, and she's ranked 21 in the world. Her spot's only $50 in a 5-case break, and she signs in 2 different sets in this insert sets, or base set and insert set in this Topps Chrome Tennis set. So if you're looking for a cheap set and a player who's been playing well recently, she did lose at Cincinnati, but hey, she's probably gonna be able to rest up now before the U.S. Open. I'd say Dona Vekic, who is still available at just $50, and she's only 28 years old, so she still has some bright tennis ahead of her. Hasn't won a major title yet in her career, either at a Masters 1000 or a Grand Slam, but with women's tennis, a lot of these players, you never know. Some players who you never expect to make it to the final do make it to the final, like the lady that won Wimbledon this year. She did win the Australian Open, I believe, but she made it to the Wimbledon final after losing like most of her matches this season and won 7 straight matches at Wimbledon and won the final. So a cheap set on Dona Vekic in a 5-case break at $50, who signs in 2 different sets inside of 2024 Topps Chrome Tennis. Wouldn't be a bad one to get. Jessica Pegula is a U.S. tennis player, 30 years old, but she is number 6 in the world for women's tennis right now. She's won 3 Masters 1000 titles, which is basically the next step below a Grand Slam. So if you win a 1000 title, it's definitely noticeable or notable. and she just won the Canadian Open last week. Now she just won. I think she was playing like pretty much right now as we speak, or just was playing this morning at Cincinnati, which is the next tournament before the U.S. Open. Yeah, she just made it to the third set, so she's currently playing right now. But she's a very popular American tennis player. She's currently ranked second behind Coco for American tennis players. So it's $70 for a 5K break. Once again, another player who I'd say is very noticeable and under $100 in the 5K delight. 60 bucks, 180 autograph breaks we're doing. Tommy Paul has had a great season. Currently, I'd say like kind of him, Shelton, and Fritz have been battling for top U.S. tennis player on the men's side right now. Fritz has been a little disappointing recently in some of his matches since the Olympics. Tommy Paul as well. Tommy Paul has been playing really well this year leading into the Olympics. Lost to Alcaraz twice, once at the Olympics, once at Wimbledon. No real shame in that, though, because everyone pretty much loses to Alcaraz, although he is possibly going to lose right now in like the round of 32 in his first match in Cincinnati. And last year he made it to the final and lost to Djokovic. So Tommy Paul is definitely going to be one of, if not the most, I'd say second most sought after American in the set behind Ben Shelton, who is a rookie card in the set and is extremely exciting and a lot younger than Paul. But he won the Queens tournament, which is a grass competition before Wimbledon. So I believe that's another pretty large tournament. What do you win? He won. He won Queens in 2024, second biggest grass court tournament behind Wimbledon, of course. You got Sebastian Korda in Tier 4 as well, another American. He just won the DC Open, so that was not a 1,000. That was a 500, I believe, competition. It goes like 1,000, 500, and 250. But Sebastian Korda has been playing some good tennis recently, and I believe he's at his top ranking in his career right now at 18. We are literally watching Alcaraz potentially losing to Monfils, who's a 37-year-old French guy. That match started last night and then got suspended because of rain, and I imagine Alcaraz is not happy at all about that suspension. Interesting one here is the highest ranked, I believe, men's Polish player of all time. Hubert Hurkacz. I probably pronounced that one wrong. I just heard it the other day on TV, but I already forgot to pronounce it. And he is ranked 6th in the world right now for the men's side. Actually, he might be 7. I think I said that Rublev was 6. So let me just go check really quick. These rankings can adjust as are playing tournaments by the week. He is 7, so he's not 6. He's 7. Let me just change that quick. All right, so Hubert is number 7, and he's a 27-year-old Polish guy. One of his most famous accomplishments, I believe, is that he actually beat Roger Federer in his last match ever, I want to say it was. I know he beat Federer in a match towards the end of his career, and he appears 8 different times in this set, with 2 of them being autograph appearances. So some of these players that you want to go after, also keep in mind, like, volume is a really important thing if you're buying into a 5K player break. And Hubert Hurkacz has got 8 different cards in the set, with 2 of them being autographs. He is currently still available in our first 5K player break that will happen on Tuesday night's early access night, live from Fanatics Live Studio in New York. He is at $70 for a 5K player break, signs twice in the set. So if someone's looking for an affordable, men's tennis player they can buy in the 5K break that boils down to I want to say like $12.50, somewhere in that range per case. That's not too much. You can find him at $70 in the store right now. We have Francis Tiafoe, who's been an interesting one. He was burst on a stream, burst onto the scene. I can't even talk right now. Extremely hot in 2022. He beat Nadal at the U.S. Open in 2022. Got to the semifinal at the U.S. Open, I believe that same year, and he was highest career ranking was number 10. But he's had a pretty rough 2024. He's extremely cheap in our player breaks because of that. He's only $35. I think he probably sold out on all of them now at that point, but extremely cheap in the 5K player breaks. He does sign 3 times in 3 different spots in the set. I believe it's base set autograph. I think he has an Aces auto potentially, and then he's in the dual auto set with Ben Shelton for the hobby breaks. But so that one, Tiafoe is kind of an interesting cheap buy. Maybe he comes back. He actually did just have a huge win over Lorenzo Musetti, who just won bronze medal at Olympics. But so Tiafoe might be on the way back a little bit. It was a decent box, Alex Morris, definitely. That Euro Orange was a nice one. Next up is Karolina Muchova, who actually is playing against Jessica Pegula as we speak at the Cincinnati Open. So Karolina is not split off in this set. She is included in letter M combo spot, which is absolutely loaded. I think there's 20 players in the letter M. 20 players if you buy the combo spot letter M, including Jakub Mensik, who is a 18-year-old. He's the highest ranked 18-year-old men's tennis player, I believe. And he might be the only ranked in the top 100 as well. So letter M is a very interesting purchase in the for the combo spots. Given there's 20 players in that, you will walk away with a lot of cards. And also Muchova is included in that 20-player group. Now she is 27 years old in our tier 4. It appears 8 times in there in this set, including 3 autograph instances. Madison Keys, also important U.S. women's tennis player, unfortunately gets injured at the worst times. She was on her way to appearing in the semifinal at Wimbledon this year, and then got hurt literally like 2 points away from winning the match. She's up 5-2 in the set also. For her to lose that set would have been one of the most impossible losses of all time, probably. Maybe not of all time, but definitely of recent memory of watching. And she literally got hurt serving, I think it was, with just a couple points left in the match. So Madison Keys is very talented, oftentimes competes really deep into these Grand Slams, which is good to have. I think a lot of times, a lot of the value that's going to come out of these players are going to be how deep can they get in Grand Slams, and do they win the 1,000 titles, and can they get to possibly Grand Slam semis and finals. And she is one that could. She's ranked 14 in the world right now, but the injuries have really hurt her. Although she has sold out in probably all of our case breaks so far, because she is really affordable, an American tennis player who does sign 3 times in the set. I really enjoy watching her play. It just stinks how many times she has to retire from matches because of injury. Ons Jabeur is 29 years old. She is ranked 16 in the world right now. She's won 1 Masters 1000 tournament. She is not signing the set, so she is a lot cheaper than what maybe would be expected. Taylor Fritz also was very popular American tennis player, still is, but he made it to multiple quarterfinals at all the Grand Slams. And yeah, I know. Is that crazy? Serving for the match right now? JS, how insane is that? I've got on the TV right now. Dude, I gotta say, Monfils's drop shots have been terrible. Dude, he hits the net like all the time. Roosty, it has to have been an agreement, not being able to come to an agreement, or possibly an upper deck exclusive thing. I think that we all know that if they could have included Serena, they would have included Serena in the set. So unfortunately, Serena Williams is not in the set. Her sister Venus is, but it has to be some sort of agreement-based thing. They have to sign contracts with all these different players to be in here, given that there's no it's not like in the MLB where you sign an MLB Players Association, you can use those players in non-autograph sets and stuff. It's a little bit different. Victoria Azarenka is included in letter A in here, which is also a good one to buy. If you're looking at a combo letter, also is Bianca Andreescu in there, and Erica and Andreeva, who is the sister of Mira. Mira Andreeva is one of the most important players in this set. But yeah, she's in tier 4. She's won 2 Grand Slams actually. So Victoria Azarenka is in the combo spot letter A, has won 2 Grand Slams and 5 Masters 1000s. She is 35 years old, so at the end of her career. And then we have Alex Dimenet here, is how I'm going to go with the pronunciation. I can't remember how it was. It's not Demonure. I heard it on TV the other day. I'm going to go with Dimenet for now. French guy. He's 25 years old. He's actually extremely talented, one of the fastest players on the men's tour. And he is competing pretty deep into these tournaments. I think it was at Wimbledon. He actually had a match set up with Djokovic to take on Djokovic, and I think it was the quarterfinal. Also, Monfils has set point right now. Sorry, Australian, not French. You are correct. He is definitely Australian. Got all my. I'm watching Monfils, who is French right now on TV, and have all my countries crossed up. Plus, the colors are similar. But yeah, he is Australian. He did sign in the first Topps Chrome set, so I think it will impact his card values because of that. He would be much more expensive if this was his first appearance. I wish he got that match with Djokovic to see what he could have done at Wimbledon. He is supposed to return for the U.S. Open. He's been injured since Wimbledon because he had to pull out that match at Wimbledon. He's been injured since then. Oh, he just won it on. Oh, I swear he just did. That's insane. Alcaraz goes out in his first appearance at Cincy Open right now. Man, that suspended match is probably killing Alcaraz. Also, I've never seen Alcaraz crack like that. He absolutely smashed his racket. like 5 times after. I think it was probably going down 3-1. I think it was in the third set here. That's insane. Alcaraz out in round 1. Well, not really round 1, but his first match at Cincy Open to a 37-year-old that's not named Novak Djokovic. Yeah, I don't think so either, JS. I was shocked by that. He didn't only break it, he absolutely destroyed it too. I mean, he destroyed it. All right, moving on to tier 3. So now we're taking a step up. Thanks everyone for sticking with me so far. Do not forget to check out our breaks in the store right now. We have 41 spots left in the first 5 case player break. There's still a bunch of notable players left, some at really good prices, of course. We custom built this entire break. We reviewed the entire checklist multiple times. We obviously built out this full guide, and we priced the spots as best as we possibly could, along with putting together combo spots that should be advantageous for people who are looking to get a lot of volume out of 5 cases. Some of those spots, like letter S, is really loaded. Letter S actually sold out in our second 5 case break. I think letter S also has one of the most important prospects in this set with Diana Schneider, who is I think 20-year-old. I can fly down there really quick. 20-year-old Russian, I want to say. Yeah, 20-year-old Russian who's been playing really well right now. Okay. Moving on to tier 3, I have Bianca Andreescu, who is a Canadian tennis player. She actually did win a Grand Slam. She just was playing the other day. I was watching her play. We have Ostapenko, who won the French Open in 2017. Sophia Kenin, I might have mispronounced that, but she won the U.S. Open. She's only 25 years old, women's tennis player. Not the U.S. Open, excuse me, the Australian Open. She won the Australian Open. She's been hurt. She was a former world number 1, though. So someone to note right there, she is still available at just $45. Coming back from injury, currently ranked 36. So might not pay off like immediately, but if you grab that spot and hit some autos, it definitely could pay off down the line. She's only $45 on her first 5 case break. Once again, American tennis player who won the Australian Open and was a former world number 4. Jasmine Paolini has had probably one of the best seasons out of every women's tennis player. Right now, she made the final at Wimbledon. She made the final at the Australian Open. She lost in both of those, but she did make back-to-back finals. I think the first woman to make back-to-back finals in the same season since Serena Williams is what I think I remember I read. But she's played really well this year. She's up to number 5 in the world. She does not have autographs in the set, but she did sell out, as these are really her first importing cards and first appearances on cards. And I see that JS bought Jasmine Paolini, so really I appreciate you for buying that. And let's hope for a big U.S. Open for her coming up here soon. Nick Kyrgios, I think a lot of people who maybe don't even follow tennis know who he is. Kind of like the new bad boy of tennis who's been injured all this year, unfortunately, so we haven't been able to watch him play. Currently not ranked because of that. But Kyrgios is definitely one of the most polarizing players, if not the most polarizing player in tennis, in men's tennis at least. And, super popular. He also does biggest waste of talent in tennis history. Ilya is probably correct on that, too. Extremely talented. Oftentimes pulls off goofy shots and kind of reminds, I guess, some people of Terrell Owens, maybe in my mind, of like a player who's extremely talented. Terrell Owens had a fantastic career, put up some massive stats. But Kyrgios did sell out, I think, in all of our 5 case breaks because his cards will be extremely popular and sought after. Love him or hate him, he's popular. We have Wozniacki, who is an interesting one. So she's still actually actively playing. She is playing today at Cincinnati Open, actually. I do not know if that match is still going. That was another one of the suspended ones from yesterday. And, she did end up losing today. But she did win a Grand Slam. She did win 6 Master 1000 titles, and she was a former world number 1. She only has 1 card in the set, which is an autograph. She's wrapped into the letter W combo spot, which I believe is still available. Including 6 other players. So she is a legend, but she's still playing as well, but she is in the letter W combo spot. All right. We have Holger Rune, who was kind of supposed to be, next in the tennis world. He hasn't been playing as well this year. He has wins over Djokovic, though, which if anyone can beat Djokovic, that's obviously an important thing to do. He's 17 in the world right now, 5 cards in the set, 1 autograph. His first appearance, his first autographs, and he's only 21 years old, so still a lot of time for Rooney to really start performing big, and one to watch in the men's tennis world for sure. Emma Raducanu is an interesting one because she won the U.S. Open in 2021. I want to say she was playing extremely well, ended up getting injured, had surgery like on both of her wrists and both of her legs, I think at the exact same time. She went through like 3 to 4 surgeries last year. So she's been out of it for a while, which is why her ranking isn't that high. But her ranking did increase significantly after Wimbledon this year. I believe she made it to the quarterfinal in Wimbledon. The British fans were supporting her heavy there, other than Max and all those Andy Murray fans that were mad that she withdrew from mixed doubles. But Emma Raducanu definitely commands a lot of value. She's in the 2021 set. Her price is a little bit lower in this because of that, because she already has had cards and was one of the biggest features in 2021 Top Trim Tennis. But once again, another player to watch out for in the women's tennis world, and she's still very young. She's just 21 right now. She won the U.S. Open at like 18 or 19. She was playing super well there, JS. That's awesome you got to go to Wimbledon, man. I'm jealous about that. I really want to go at some point in my life. I'm luckily going to the U.S. Open for the first time this year. So, yeah, the design this year is an absolutely fire design. Very, like, tennis-focused versus the first design was, I'd say, very bland. Although I still love a lot of those cards in the set. Like, I have a Pete Sampras Orange Auto right behind me. It was basic, but I love it. I think it looks great. And I think this next set is just going to give it, like, a kind of another level type of tennis feel to it. Excuse me if I pronounce this name wrong, but Qinwen Zheng, which I should know how to pronounce that because she won the gold medal this year. I watched her play at the Olympics. She's just 21. She signs in 2 different sets in this, and she also has 7 cards in the set. Now, Zheng, I think, is sold in all of our 5K breaks, and Zheng is going to be one of the more valuable female women's tennis players in the set. Ilya, I don't think that there are any on-card autographs unless they're going to surprise us with some images right before release. Therefore, some insert sets. But the base set autos, I'm pretty sure all going to be sticker. In the end, a lot of these players, a large majority, if not all of them except for a few, haven't signed before. And if they have, they've been in like Leaf sets, which I don't know about everyone else, but I don't collect Leaf at all, and other things like that. So these are really going to be their like big time autos, of course. All right, we've got Stefanos Tsitsipas, which is an interesting one because he career high number 3, really high up there, talented, but has had some issues recently with his coach, which happened to be his dad, who he just fired like a week ago, and he just hasn't been as on point at all this year. So one that I think is going to bring value in the set. He's got 7 cards in the set with 2 autographs in here. 2 different type of autographs in here. He's still 25, only had plenty of time to figure it out. 11 in the world right now for men's, but he's definitely got to start performing a little bit better in these upcoming tournaments. Casper Ruud has made it to 3 finals, has lost them all though. So he's made it to 3 finals. He's only 25. He's got 6 cards in the set, 2 autos. If he can make it to more finals and win them, his value can definitely go up. But he's got to start to win some of those finals if he wants that to happen. And he's ranked as high as number 2 at one point. So he's got 6 cards in the set, 2 autographs in the set, and he's still available in our first 5K break. Mira Andreeva is possibly the most interesting name in this set that you might not have heard about before. A lot of you who follow tennis have definitely heard about Mira Andreeva, but she's 17 years old, and she has got a rookie logo in the set, which I think that she's the most important rookie logo in the set next to Ben Shelton for American purposes. It's going to be really sought after. But Andreeva at 17 years old is number 23 in the world, and she just made, the semifinal at the French Open this year. I think she ended up losing to Iga in that. Yeah, no, Iga beat Coco. She must have lost to Paulini in the semi. And I think her spots have sold at all of our 5K breaks for good reason. But yeah, Mira Andreeva is a very big name in this set, and this is her first cards and first signings. Ben Shelton, another rookie logo in the set. There's only like maybe a couple notable rookie men's logos in this set, unless we find more, upcoming in the future. That might be a thing. But he's got 8 cards in the set, 3 autographs. He's sold out on all of our case breaks. He's probably the most exciting men's player to watch. Also has a really hard time returning serve a lot of time though too, so it can be really frustrating to watch. But is definitely like a crowd pleaser. He loves screaming after big points. And he had a really deep run at the U.S. Open a couple seasons ago, made it to the semifinals. So Ben Shelton his cards are definitely going to command value, regardless of if he hasn't been having the best season yet. He's actually about to play coming up here really soon at Cincy Open. I think he actually is on center court next. So definitely an American fan favorite. He went to the University of Florida. So there's maybe going to be some Gator fans chasing after his cards, but he hasn't won any big events yet. Hasn't won a Grand Slam or a Masters 1000. He is just 21 years old though, so he's got time. But here he is right now on the TV, playing football with either a fan or maybe his dad. His dad's his coach. So yeah, once again, big personality, fan favorite. And I'm sure some people don't like him too though. I remember him and Djokovic had their thing the other year where Shelton's celebration was to hang up the phone, and Djokovic did that after beating him. All right, next up we have Lorenzo Musetti, who is one of the other best young men's players in the set. 22 years old, just won the bronze medal, made a deep run at Wimbledon as well, made the semifinal. Musetti is one that I think is going to command a lot of value out of the set, and we should be seeing his autographs at a decent rate. I'd say of all the spots remaining right now, the 41 spots remaining, the first 5Ks break, Musetti's is possibly one of the most important spots remaining. At just 22 years old, he won a bronze medal at the Olympics. He made a Wimbledon semifinal. He has a career ahead of him, and he has 3 different autographs in the set from a set checklist perspective-wise, and 7 cards total. We should be able to hit a decent amount of Lorenzo Musetti cards. If you're going after someone like the $200 range on a 5Ks break, I would probably put a pretty big exclamation point on Lorenzo Musetti myself. So next one, this is ranked up here because of his current ranking in the world, which is number 4 for Alexander Zverev. He's choked in different finals and semifinals, but he's won 6 Masters 1000 tournaments. He is 27, so he's still in the prime of his career. A lot of people don't like him for a lot of reasons, which is very understandable. I'm not a Zverev fan myself, and he doesn't sign in the set. Now, his spot would be much more expensive if he did sign in the set. He does not sign in the set, but his cards will still definitely command some values. He is one of the best men's players in the world. He just hasn't won that Grand Slam yet, and it looks like Jessica Pegula is going to end up winning this match pretty soon here, which is awesome for her. She'll make the round at 16 at the Cincy Open. And she, like I said, once again, is the top-ranked American women's player behind Coco. So at $70 for Jessica Pegula in the store, might be one target. Naomi Osaka is a huge target in this set, as these are her first Topps cards. Now, she does have Upper Deck cards. She does have, Exquisite Auto. She does not sign in the set. If she had signed in the set, once again, it'd be more expensive. She actually is playing pretty decent right now. She almost beat Iga. She had match points, I believe, against Iga at the French Open. And for those that don't know, Iga Swiatek, she has won 4 of the last 5 French Opens. She dominates on clay, ended up not winning gold at the Olympics, which was a big shock. But Osaka is back to performing not obviously like she was. And she's won 4 Grand Slam titles. Of all the current active players on the list, she matches Alcaraz at 4, and she's one behind Iga at 5. So, and obviously Djokovic is light years ahead of all of them. But he's one of the GOATs. So, Osaka was one of the best in the world at a time. But she had a kid and is back to playing again. And I'm excited to watch her play in the near future. So hopefully she rebounds, back into maybe what her form was when she was winning those 4 Grand Slams. All right, Elena Rybakina is also one of the most sought-after players in the set. We are in Tier 2 right now. I'm sure y'all can tell by the yellow 2 right there. But we're in Tier 2. Elena Rybakina is one of the most important players in the set. She won Wimbledon 2021. She probably should have won Wimbledon this year. She choked in the semifinal against the eventual winner. So I guess maybe, just kind of like a hot Cinderella run for Krejcikova, who won Wimbledon this year. But she's got 7 cards in the set, 2 autographs. She's only 25. She's probably going to win another Grand Slam at some point, I assume. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but she definitely has got the talent to do it. And I know I think she's sold out on all of our 5K breaks for the upcoming release week. Andy Murray is one of, if not the most popular player that is appearing in the set that has played currently this year. He is retired now as of July 2024. We have him still in the current players because as the release, this is a 2024 release, he's played this season. His last match of all time was at the doubles at Olympics. They lost to Tommy Paul and Taylor Fritz. And Andy Murray has won 3 Grand Slams, 14 Master 1000 titles, but that Grand Slam number probably would be a lot higher if he didn't play through the Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic era, which Andy Murray is definitely one of the legends of tennis, the best British tennis player of all time. And I know Max is pumped about it. Max is our local Brit in the chat. And Max, I really hope we pull you some big Andy Murrays on release week next week. So really looking forward to Tuesday early access show and Wednesday's release day. Don't forget Tuesday early access on Tuesday evening. We'll be live from the Fanatics HQ Fanatics studio in New York City, breaking Top Strom Tennis 2024 for the first initial early access preview of this set. Daniil Medvedev. So Daniil Medvedev has been one of the more important men's players over the last 5 years. He's won 6 Masters 1000 titles. He's won a Grand Slam. Which one was that? Let me go actually scroll to it. Yeah, he won the U.S. Open. Was this 2 years ago? Or was that 2021? Let me go see. I think it might have been 2021. I think it was 2021. Or wait, I can't remember when Alcaraz won it. So it's 2022. All right, sorry, 2022. Yeah, because Alcaraz won it last year. But yeah, as for Medvedev, oh, you were there? Dang, that's crazy. Beat Djokovic in the final. So that's like a big career win right there. Like to beat Djokovic in a final recently is quite impressive. If you're not named, obviously, one of the GOATs like Federer and Nadal, or Alcaraz, who's beaten him twice now in back-to-back finals. Okay, excluding the Olympics, Grand Slam finals. Medvedev is one of them, and he's got 9 cards in the set. He's got 2 autographs in the set, and his tennis rating currently is number 5. He was the world number 1 in 2022, and he, like I said, has a Grand Slam title now. He has competed towards the top of like every Grand Slam recently. I'm going to be really intrigued to see him at the U.S. Open. He hasn't been as good going into the U.S. Open right now. He just lost yesterday, I believe, at Cincinnati. But Medvedev is definitely one to watch. Like every single Grand Slam, every Grand Slam he seems to be competing in. Definitely on hard court, he has been playing very well. Ilya says he would have literally been anyone that day. Best I've ever seen someone playing hard court. Well, there you go. Ilya knows. That is pretty crazy. That's awesome. You're at that final. All right, at the top of tier 2, which this is kind of like no specific order for some of these tiered rankings, like 3 and 4, but tier 1 and 2 are, I'd say somewhat ranked pretty much. Although Andy Murray probably could end up, right there, right at number, right, at the top of tier 2. There's a reason why. I mean, Andy really could be in tier 1, but in the end, it's like his career, he just did retire, so he's not going to be actively playing anymore. But Andy, obviously one of the all-time tennis legends, which is going to command massive value out of the set. We have Sabalenka at the top of tier 2. She has been very important over the last 3 years of women's tennis, 3, 4, 5 years. She's currently ranked number 3 in the world. She's won 2 Grand Slams, though. And she's won 5 Master 1000 titles. She's won the Australian Open, and she's won she's won the Australian Open twice, but she lost in 2023 in the U.S. Open to Coco Gauff, who is my favorite tennis player, although anyone who's a Coco fan right now is definitely not feeling very comfortable given the last month. Since Wimbledon, Coco has been anything of what we've seen over the last year. So I'm really hoping that Coco can turn it around at this year's U.S. Open and try to defend her court. As she did win it last year as her first ever Grand Slam title. But Sabalenka has went through some injuries, went through some personal things with some things happening with someone passing away. It was her ex-boyfriend, I think, and I'm sure that was not a great effect to start the year. But she did win the Australian Open just this year and should definitely be a factor to win more Grand Slams in the near future. She's very talented. She's a huge power hitter. And Coco beat her last year in the U.S. Open, but Sabalenka is definitely going to be a factor in a lot of tournaments. Coco is in tier 1 for us. She is one of the most popular tennis players, the best American tennis player by ranking, and has won a Grand Slam. The issue is that the last month has not been that great. I can admit it. I've watched nearly all of her matches. I've followed them all. And she needs to figure out that serve and figure out that forehand if she wants any chance to compete in this U.S. Open, which I hope that she does. She's got about a week and some change to really get that down, I hope. Ever since Wimbledon, she seemed to have a really straight shot to Wimbledon, at least semifinal, and then lost to Emma Navarro. And ever since then, she's been pretty much like, I'd say like cracked. Like she lost pretty early on at the last couple tournaments she's played in, lost early at the Olympics. But I believe in Coco. She's only 20. Super talented, has got to work on some things, though, to be able to compete at the top of every Grand Slam she plays in, although she was competing towards the top of every Grand Slam she was playing. She made the semifinal, I think, at both the Australian Open and French Open this year, and she made the final at the Australian Open. That had been a few years ago now. But Wimbledon's the only tournament she hasn't made the semis at, so she is a beast. She is a beast. It's been a tough month, but I think I'm just a little affected by it because I got quite a crazy Coco Gauff collection. I've pulled a lot of cards of hers, and I'm just week to week I'm watching her matches and tracking the scores, and I just want to see her fighting back towards those semifinals because she has fought in those semifinals at Grand Slams all the time. So. She signs in the base set in this set. She's one of the top autographs in the set. Carlos Alcaraz, she did sign in the previous set, though, too. So she's got 2021 Topps Chrome on-card autos. Carlos Alcaraz is the, most talented superstar men's player in the world right now. Just lost today, which is crazy to say. It seemed like he was going to be a shoo-in to win the Cincy Open after Djokovic withdrew after winning gold medal at the Olympics. He lost to Monfils, a 37-year-old. Those 37-year-olds have been causing him some problems recently. Djokovic just beat him at the Olympics. Monfils just beat him in Cincinnati. Now, Alcaraz is going to be, in my opinion, let's say the tied for first most expensive auto in the set. Granted that Djokovic also is going to be pretty much the most expensive auto in the set, which is why they're priced at the same in all our breaks, and they've sold out at the same in all of our breaks. So Alcaraz and Djokovic. Alcaraz, the new blood, right, has won 4 Grand Slams, 5 Master 1000s, and is polarizing star at 21 years old. Extremely happy kid. His interviews are awesome. Seems like a fan, really good with the fans. This next wave after Nadal, he's picking up the torch from Nadal, right, for Spanish tennis. Lost in the gold medal match at the Olympics to Djokovic, was really broken down about that, it seemed. And today, lost and just absolutely obliterated his racket. I'll have to find that Twitter video and send that around. But Carlos Alcaraz, best in the world right now, other than today, I guess. His match got suspended last night. I'm sure he's hacked off about that because of the weather, then the loss today. Iga Swiatek is the clay master, so she's won 4 of the last 5 French Opens, which is extremely impressive, as there's not too much consistency in women's tennis right now. Not too much like same person winning every Grand Slam or making every final or winning multiple of the same finals in a row, but she is one of them, and she struggles though on grass and off of the clay. So Iga is actually tied for the favorite for the U.S. Open. But I'm looking at someone else, I'm not even saying a specific person. I feel like someone else might end up winning the U.S. Open, but she does have 5 Grand Slam titles. She won I want to say it was the Australian Open. No, sorry, it's the U.S. Open. So she did win the U.S. Open as well already, but she's won 4 Grand Slams at the Australian Open, and she's only 23. She's Polish. She just won the bronze medal at the Olympics. Shove won the gold. She had 9 cards in the set. She's in all the insert sets, and she's got 3 autographed different cards are autographed in the set, different subsets. She is the most expensive women's tennis player in the set, and it's for good reason. And I believe she's sold out in some of our 1-case breaks, but not sold out in our first 5-case break yet. And then at the top, Nowak Djokovic, everyone knows who he is. 24 Grand Slam titles, the most of all time for the men's. I think that's, I don't know how much Margaret Smith Court has, but she might have 24 also. How many does she have? She has 24, so he's tied for the most of all time between men's and women's. I think he'll get one more before he's done playing. He just came off the meniscus surgery and made it to the Wimbledon final, and then lost to Alcaraz. That was pretty much a domination, and then made it to the Olympic gold medal match and won that. So that was awesome to see. This is his first gold medal ever in his career that completed his resume, just as Messi completed his resume with Messi's World Cup victory. And I think Djokovic is going to make it to the semifinal, at least at the U.S. Open. I'd be shocked if he doesn't make it to the final. We might get another Alcaraz-Djokovic rematch. So I really enjoy watching Novak. I really enjoy watching his post-match interviews these last couple of years. Very well-spoken in defeat, very complimentary, always around. I know a lot of people maybe don't like him for certain reasons. Maybe didn't like him when he was, kind of coming up and beating Federer and Nadal and really getting into it with the fans. But I really like Novak. I respect him. Seems like a great family guy, a great country guy, and I'm excited to watch him play another U.S. Open. So that rounds out our top 50 players in the set. That's going to be the most analysis we'll do on this. I'm just going to go through the legends that we have tiered right now just so people can see who is in the set that we've got split off into different spots. So we've got John Isner, who is well known for the longest tennis match of all time at Wimbledon. It was, what was the exact time length? It was massive. It was 11 hours and 5 minutes. He's a 7-foot U.S. American player, and I know that John Isner was a fan favorite of some Americans back in the days when he played. And he did win one Master 1000 title. Maria Sharapova is one of the most popular tennis players of all time, although she got absolutely worked by Serena Williams. She has a 2-20 career record against Serena Williams, but she did win 5 Grand Slams and won 14 Master 1000 titles. However, she also got, I guess it was caught, busted, whatever you want to say, for blood doping. I think it's pretty much like the same term for almost like PED steroids, I guess. But Maria Sharapova still has a huge fan base, and she does sign in the set and has 4 cards in the set. Should be extremely sought after on the secondary market. Andy Roddick, was pretty much the next for U.S. tennis. You know, after Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi and stuff like that, Andy Roddick came up and won a Grand Slam, and then he hit the immovable objects of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. So Roddick, extremely good. Probably would have had more Grand Slams if it wasn't for those guys. Maybe would win a lot of Grand Slams if it wasn't for those guys, but obviously that you just can't take that into account, as he did play against those guys. He won 5 Masters 1000s. He did sell out in our first 5Ks player break, I believe. And I'm really excited to get some good Andy Roddick cards out there. I really liked him in the Marty Fish Netflix documentary as well. They played together, coming up together, and that was a really interesting Netflix documentary on Marty Fish. If you haven't watched it yet, if you're a tennis fan, recommend. Kim Clijsters, she's in the set. She got 4 Grand Slams, 7 1000 titles, and 2 Grand Slam doubles titles. I think she sold. Very affordable legend in the set. Boris Becker, I know Max is excited about Boris Becker. German, 6 Grand Slams, 14 Master 1000 titles. Very affordable legend in the set as well, who does, his autograph should command some decent money. Michael Chang, he did sign the 2021 set, but he's actually the youngest Grand Slam winner ever. I think at 17 years old, was it? So he's got 4 cards, 2 autographs in the set. Monica Seles, 4 cards, 1 autograph. Could have been the GOAT, but crazy enough, got stabbed by a fan. Really crazy, really crazy turn of events. Stabbed by a fan, and career pretty much, wound down. Wasn't the same after that. 9 Grand Slams in her career, 8 Master 1000 titles. Billie Jean King, obviously one of the most popular tennis player of all time. Battle of the Sexes. She ended up getting the equal pay at the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Open site is named after her. So, U.S. Open is when the men's and women's prize pool is exactly the same, I believe, or the winner's exactly the same. I think it's both. Like, there's the prize pool is exactly the same for whoever wins that, and the different finishes there. Martina Hingis, she is also in the set. She was in the previous set of Topps Chrome as well, but she's got 5 Grand Slam titles, 17 Masters, 1000, 13 double Grand Slams. Legend as well. John McEnroe, his autographs are going to command huge money off here. He's currently an ESPN analyst and broadcaster, and one of the most iconic men's U.S. tennis players of all time. He won 7 Grand Slams, 18 Master 1000s, 9 double Grand Slam titles. So McEnroe is definitely going to have a very, very important card in this set. I hope we hit a lot of his autographs. That'd be fun to do. Bjorn Borg, one of the most talented tennis players of all time. I remember watching the Federer documentary, and he said Bjorn Borg for him was the guy. Like, that was his legend, that was his icon. And Bjorn Borg won 11 Grand Slam titles, and I don't think he played very long, unless I'm mistaken. And let me see. Yeah, so he played for 11 years, and he had a brief comeback until 1993. So there's like a 7-year period of time he was off there. But he won 11 Grand Slam titles in a very short period of time. Swedish tennis player. He was a very big icon too, like on the magazine cover for different fashion stuff. And I remember even my dad was like, "Yeah, Bjorn Borg was everywhere" type of thing. So that's his first Topps Chrome autograph. He does have a Topps Transcendent auto, but Topps Chrome autograph. Andre Agassi, obviously extremely popular American player. One that I think actually did not participate in some Wimbledons because of his dress code. He didn't want to adhere to the white dress code, so he always wore crazy gear. He had some crazy hair early in his career. Won 8 Grand Slams, 17 Master 1000 titles. Played across a very similar timeline as Pete Sampras as well, although Sampras is the American GOAT, but Agassi very popular. Navratilova signed in the previous set, but Navratilova's got 31 Grand Slam titles, which is absolutely obscene. If you were to win every Grand Slam title for an 8-year stretch, you're coming away with 32 Grand Slam titles. So, sorry, yeah. So if she were to win every single Grand Slam doubles title for 8 straight years, that equal 32, and she won 31. Obviously, her career was a lot longer than 8 years, but even if, just that math is pretty crazy. 18 singles Grand Slam titles. That matches Chris Evert as well for some of the most of all time by women. Chris Evert is one of the most popular women's tennis players of all time. American as well as Venus Williams, obviously. Chris Evert is the second best Americans player of all time behind Serena Williams, and she signed in the first set, but she's got a lot of cards in this set. And she also currently announces for ESPN as well. She'll be doing the U.S. Open, I'm sure. She did it last year. Venus Williams, her first time signing in 20-plus years. 20-plus years. She's actually still playing some tournaments, I think. We're counting her as a legend, though. It's not really like, she's been competing at the highest of the highs recently. But she won 7 Grand Slams, 9 Master 1000 titles. She was the big name until Serena Williams came onto the scene, her sister, and overtook that. But Venus Williams will be a huge name in this set. And, big one to have included. Pete Sampras did sign in the first Top Shrimp set, signs in here as well. But he's got 14 Grand Slam titles, which is, I think, the third most all-time by an American behind Serena and then Chris Evert and then Pete Sampras. He's got 14 Master 1000 titles. He is absolutely phenomenal watching him. I didn't watch him live. I was born in 98, so tail end of his career is when I was, super young. But I've watched some of his replays and stuff. Dude, the guy serve, his athleticism, just super fun. If you like watching tennis highlights, I watched some Pete Sampras tennis highlights. And then the big inclusion for legend in here is Steffi Graf, who has 22 Grand Slam titles, which is third behind Margaret Smith Court, Serena Williams, and then Steffi Graf. German legend. She signs in here for her first autographs, I believe, and she's a huge legend. Huge legend. Third most all-time, for Grand Slams. Also has a singles Olympic gold medal and Wimbledon's double title. So Steffi Graf sold out on her first break and is huge. Just at the end here are a few names: Jack Draper, Diana Schneider, Jakub Menchik, Xinyu Wang, Linda Fruvirtova, super hard to say that one, Eric Andreeva, who's Mira's sister, Thomas Machak, and then Leila Fernandez, which is an interesting one because she lost to Emma Raducanu at the U.S. Open in 2021. But she's still very young at 21. That was a super young final in 2021 between, I guess, two 18, 19-year-olds. And she does sign in the set. She is included in letter F, which is a very good combo letter. Letter F is a very, very good combo letter. Would highly recommend that one if you're going to buy into one to get a bunch of volume or of cards for 7 different players. But that is all I got, everyone. That is all I got. I hope you all enjoyed. This guide is accessible to you all. It's free. Shoot me a DM here on Fanatics Live. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or sign up for the SlabStox.com daily Slab newsletter to get this in your inbox in the morning. This is a blast for me to do this. This is extremely exciting for us going to New York City next week for Tuesday's early access release from Fanatics Live Studio. All the breaks in the story now will be moved back to Tuesday's stream. That is where they will be happening, Wednesday as well. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that's pre-bought spots so far. It really means a lot. We've already had half of the break sell out for our first 5Ks break, and we have a lot more spots left. So if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the chat right now. If not, I'm going to drink some water, catch my breath, because I just talked for basically an hour straight and enjoyed some Cincinnati Open as well. So I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. I hope you all have a great weekend. We will see you all. My next stream will be happening Tuesday in New York City. So you won't see me on here on Fanatics Live until then. Please make sure to bookmark that stream. I cannot wait enough for the early access stream. I appreciate you all watching. Any questions, once again, DMs are open on Instagram. DMs are open on Fanatics Live. I'll send you the link to this guide, and we'll touch base then. So I hope everyone had a great time watching this, and I can't wait for Tuesday. Can't wait for the next Top Shrimp tennis set, and we're going to be ripping a lot of it. So see you all then, and have a great rest of your weekend.